Hi everyone, welcome you to the presentation of this video on two-way supply system. So a two-way supply system, this is basically a system which has two sources of supply. For example, you can have Zesco as a source of supply and a genset, or Zesco and solar. So to install such a system, we are going to look at two methods. So there is a method where you can use a changeover switch. That's a switch which looks like that. So on such a switch, you can use this switch to select which supply you use for your load. So for this one, for example, green would be Zesco. So you just press your switch on the Zesco side, meaning Zesco will be giving supply. Red would be genset or solar, whatever source of supply. Okay. Then the other one would be automated system. This is the focus of this presentation. In this system, we're going to use a contactor is basically this. Though in this presentation, I'm not going to focus much on the size of the contactor. I'm just showing you the connections. Okay, so for the first one, where I use a changeover switch, the changeover switch is basically a switch that is able to connect or disconnect two or more supplies to a load or loads. It has two modes of operation. It can be operated manually or automatically. So it looks something like that. For a changeover switch, it looks like this. This is a manual operated changeover switch. The circuit diagram looks like that. So you may have two sources. You may have this as a source of supply, which has live and neutral, of course, as source 1. And you may have this one as well as a second source of supply, where you have live and neutral like that. And then you have that as your source. So it has a handle, of course, which is this one. So it depends with the switching. When you push your handle to one source, it means this source 1 is the one which will engage to the load. So meaning you are connecting your load to this source. If you change this switch to the other direction, you are connecting this load to the other switch. Okay. So for the automated system where we're using contactors, this is basically a switch where you're going to use a contactor. As I said earlier, our focus is it's not really the size of the contactor. I'm just showing you the wiring diagram. So you may have a source. Let's say this is one source, which is the Zesco supply. Okay. And then you have another source. So for the Zesco supply, actually, you have two lines. You've got live and neutral going to A1 and A2 of your contactor coil. And then we have another source, which is our solar, of course. So for our PV source, you get two lines. The live goes to the normally close of your contactor, and then the neutral goes to the other normally close of the contact. And then from there, you jump a cable. From the live of the Zesco, you put to the normally open, and from the neutral of the Zesco, you give your normally open like that. And then on the outputs there, you just jump the output of your Zesco supply, because we know our input there was our normally open supply. So our normally open output there and the normally closed output for your solar, you bridge them together, and that terminal will give the load. You do the same for the neutral. The normally close of our solar and the normally close from our Zesco, jump them like that, and that is going to feed our load, which is, it would be a house, for example. So these connections are done in the meter box. Those two lines which come in our meter box would be these. Okay. So basically the operation of this is, when you have Zesco supply, this contactor will be energized because A1 and A2 is going to have power. When these are energized, it means this contactor will engage. The operation of a contactor is that the normally closed will become open and the open will become closed. So these which are closed, they will become open, meaning when Zesco is engaged, you cannot have output from the PV, because those PV, as you can see, they are entering from the normally closed. These will now become open, meaning on the output there from our solar system, you will have nothing, but Zesco will have something because it's connected to the normally open. As you can see, this jumper is connected to the normally open, and that one the normally open. So when this contactor energizes, this normally open will become closed. That's why you have that. If you have a breakdown or a load shedding, this means this contactor will be off. Once it's off, as you can see, the PV is connected to the normally closed. Therefore, you're going to have output on the normally closed, but Zscore will have nothing because it's connected to the normally open. So this house will be operated on two supplies, Zscore and PV. Thank you.